and we're going to talk about being wired for empathy doesn't necessarily mean someone is warm, nurturing, or even pleasant. Because I think that there's a little issue with that. So I was doing my daily journal because I'm really, really trying to feed the internet with reality, like uncurated, real people, because I firmly believe that we may be creating the hieroglyphics right now that somebody else 100 years from now, 500 years from now, I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna turn out, this human experiment on this cycle. Um, but I really know the people that, like, carved things into stone, brilliant, wonderful things that helped us connect the dots and just saw how wise they were. I know they had probably paper and writing things down and ways they were communicating that got erased or whatever. So I really feel like the way to work with the AI era is for the people who are empathetic, who are not disconnected, who have done the work, no matter what they're doing. Um, if they're on this platform, they're trying to communicate, and I think showing ourselves in realness is part of that. And so I'm going to start to contemplating this though still, but I'm really feeling called to sort of do a daily journal in a live format. It's something I did back in the day, heyday of me being on digital. I have not really been on video and digital marketing for at least 3 years, and I'm not looking forward to coming back. But I do feel called for this project, this human systems project. So I thought I would try out how this works here on Substack. So let's just talk about people who are very empathetic, but not necessarily kind, because I think it's part of the ways that people see people with a neurodivergence divergence that I definitely think people, especially women who are gifted, like those in the 2E category, and if you're on the spectrum somewhere, you know what I'm talking about. You're gifted, and a lot of your giftedness is probably metacognition, and you're connecting the dots left and right, and you're probably highly creative, and you're very empathetic, but you're not necessarily describing yourself as kind. It doesn't mean you're not nice. And I think we just need to, I think in today's journal, I just want to explain something. Wired for empathy. Wired for empathy doesn't necessarily mean you're someone warm, nurturing, or even pleasant. And that's not a bad thing. And I think a lot of women who are very highly capable and had to kind of endure spaces for being who they are, have had to work with this. They might even be called weird or conceited or think they know it all or something like that. And meanwhile, they're doing wonderful things with their work. They're in healthcare. They're doing these wonderful civic organization. They're activists, but it's like relationally, people get frustrated with them, even though they think they're brilliant and they definitely get helped by them. And I think a lot of us often ended up in social roles, healthcare, things like that, because we fit that, right? Like there's a reasoning and a logic and a way we can play the game that's very equitable, um, as long as we're doing our professional role. But I just want to outline this for everyone else who doesn't get it. Empathy, empathy is having the ability to accurately perceive. I have some notes here to help me. Accurately perceive, just perceive the room. Like you can read the room, you're feeling another person's emotional state or mental state. That means you're empathetic. There are a hell of a lot of people right now who do not have skills in empathy. They don't want skills in empathy. They actually think it's a deficit. That type of person is really disconnecting from the human experience, in my point of view. You can have your point of view, but I think that person is really disconnecting from the human experience for one reason or another. I don't like that a lot of people who don't have empathy have a hell of a lot of money and power right now. That's kind of scary. Okay. Kindness is choosing action. So I would choose an action intended to benefit another person. Sometimes when you're on the spectrum, you are reading the room and connecting the dots, but you don't always necessarily think to choose an action intended to benefit another person unless you see like a functionality in that. And it doesn't mean you're not caring. It just means like in that particular way of helping them, like you'll find a solution, you're connecting the dots. You will a lot of times I think in healthcare, right? We're taught to like fix things and or if we're in a leadership role, the idea has been like you're good if you can fix things. And I think this is where men have a difficulty because they were sort of taught to like give a solution, right? They weren't even necessarily conditioned to be kind, and they could still get a lot of physical like social accolades for that. Like being an athlete, let's be like an athlete. Like being an athlete on the field, I think you can really show where you can be empathetic to your teammates. You can like know where to put people but you're going to get a job done and you're not necessarily kind on the field. But you can be very caring for your teammates and have lots of empathy for the person who needs to like to give them the ball to get the goal. Like you understand? Like that kind of thing. I think we don't give enough credit for people, especially women, who are because they're thought to be they're supposed to be kind. I think a lot of us are not necessarily kind for one reason or another when we're like doing our empathy work and we're actually being still very nice. I think it's really hard for people to see women who are being nice, but not necessarily kind in the process of being nice and also empathetic. So I think we need to that is something that and being in healthcare makes it really easy because you kind of like know how to like play the role of the kindness. You're matching what that person needs and I think in social services, it's like that too, and a lot of civic work, it's like that too. But and I think that's why it has attracted a lot of people who are on a high capacity level of the spectrum, a lot of gifted people. Um, but it all broke down. We all left the system because we realized the system itself, the healthcare system, the civic system, the social services, inherently the system we realized was not very kind. So we decided, hey, like we can't play this game and we went out with it. So niceness is following social norms. So let's just get something straight. Niceness is following social norms. If you are if you are neurodiverse and then wake up and did the work and make boundaries, you are no longer really going to operate just being nice because you realize it's unhealthy for you. So again, I think a lot of people in health and wellness and fitness and people who go on a journey out of corporate because they get burnt out or got sick and then they end up getting on a path to holistically looking at themselves can figure out that they have to stop being nice all the time because they can't follow the social norms inside corporate and they can't follow the social norms inside industrial medicine and healthcare. And they can't follow the social norms inside academia and education. And they can't follow the social because the norms have become like they the norms have lost empathy to be efficient in those realms. So you stop wanting to be comfortable and polite because you can't do the work that needs to get done inside those systems and be comfortable and polite to your peers. You can be comfortable and polite to the people you want to serve, but you can't, like, you just don't have the energy or the masking or the logic anymore to do that. And I think we need to like understand that. Like there are a lot of people who are just not nice anymore to get the work done. And we either need to change the system to recalibrate it to have nice people in it, or we need to get all the unnice people out. Like there's no other way to do this. Right now, there's a lot of not nice people who are running organizations and are in leadership. They don't have the capacity. And I think a lot of that is because they were taught to decrease their empathy. I think it was looked at as like a whole, like, I think they went to Tony Robbins and now he's empathetic, but like 5, 10 years ago, that guy was like, walk on hot coals, be stoic. Like we forget the Tony Robbins right now is reacting to the market because that crap made everyone sick and nobody wants it. And if you want to be a billionaire and a millionaire right now in leadership training and you don't want to be a bad person, like you can't sell that anymore. I mean, that's, like he's trying to be nice. He's bringing in his wife now. Like I think he realized how not nice he was. I mean, whatever. Like, yeah, he helped a lot of people make a lot of money. That's great. But he wasn't kind or nice doing it. And when he was teaching not to be empathetic, a lot of leaders looked at that as like how to be a protector in society. And that's falling apart real fast, right? It's falling apart real fast. And then there's compassion. And this is where I think a lot of people lead from. It's empathy plus a desire to reduce suffering. And I think there's a lot of people in health and leadership and all of that that were so compassionate that they couldn't make they were not put into the positioning, or they lost out, or they were not given the money for whatever reason because they were so compassionate and empathetic that they were just really wanting to reduce suffering. And in order to reduce suffering, they had to start with themselves first. And they bypassed becoming the multimillionaire billionaire to do it. Or they left, they started their own business, and then they had to like start and climb and do that whole thing, and they're still on the path. Or they were able to do that and do that shift. And then somehow in the last 10 years, I don't know how they did it. I don't think a lot of the people who were influencers and big marketers, I don't think they successfully navigated this. I think that right now they're a little lost, or they're just licking their wounds, or they're like I said, like Tony Robbins right now just changed his whole like way he's doing it. Like I think you need to just understand those are different things. And then there's a whole bunch of people who are just really skilled in negotiation and being agreeable. I think we need to understand there are a lot of people who are getting a lot of money because they know how to be agreeable. And honestly, that's a tendency towards cooperation, warmth, and avoiding conflict. And right now, I don't think you can be compassionate, truly compassionate by the definition I'm giving, being empathetic and having a true desire to reduce suffering in this world and be agreeable with a lot of people who are in power and have the money for investments. And if you figured out a way to do that, truthfully, I so want you to tag me and let me read your stuff and learn from you. I think there are a whole bunch of people who realized being empathetic is where 21st century living is. and they're going to get a hell of a lot of pushback from people who don't have the capacity to do that, who have a lot of money and a lot of power. I think there's a space. I think there's a space for that person to figure out how to like leverage off the fact that those people who have been preaching to be stoic and have no empathy, and that's the way you rule the world, and that's the way you get ahead. Like, where's Tom Bilyeu right now? I haven't seen him. I mean, I have not seen him. I haven't seen Lisa Bilyeu. Is that how you pronounce their names? I don't know where they are. They're not on my feeds anymore. I think that's amazing considering how the I think they're retreated. I think when they like had to run from fires, they realized like, I mean, I know I'm naming names here. I've seen Brene Brown. She made a shift. She made a shift. She's just like, I'm going to go right into the fire and leadership. And I'm got to play this game differently because I did not show up. I did not show up compassionate for the people I needed to show compassion for because I was scared of losing my position. I think we're seeing it right now, like the way it can work for people in like, what's that name? I'm sorry, I don't know your name. The nurse that found out her husband had like a double life and she was highly capable woman with a desire to like be there for her man and is now feeling the ramifications of that, which I think is like a very popular persona for the highly capable, probably over empathetic, giftedly, probably on the spectrum. That's why you ended up in healthcare woman who has huge capacity and kindness, but it doesn't always get expressed in the way people like expect it from someone, or it gets overexpressed, and therefore you kind of end up in relationships with the people that you trust in some sort of like betrayal out of that empathy because she was really being very nice. That's where that went wrong. She was being very nice. She was following social norms that make interactions comfortable and polite. She was being very nice to her husband. But I can see she like raised like $100,000 in a couple of days within like a week or something, putting information on a shirt using her platform that she had built because she's highly empathetic and she decided no longer to be agreeable. So I see there's potential there. I see there's potential there, but we need to really start understanding these are different things. We need the empathy back. We need the leadership with empathy back 100%. Those people are going to maybe be neurodivergent on the spectrum somewhere where you may not realize like you're not getting that kindness thing from them, and that's okay. But like you're looking at them and they're also maybe not so nice. Like that's okay. Like you need to sort of like realize, do you have empathy and compassion? And you need to start supporting their platforms because they're probably not agreeable right now. And they're probably not going to be nice right now because things have blown up, because they're waking up. And they're probably like working out how to show kindness outside of like having to be a caregiver or having to be a role model or having to be like cultured and curated. So I just am saying like look for the empathy. Again, accurately perceiving or feeling another person's emotional or mental state. Follow their pages. Support their platforms. Kindness, choosing actions intended to benefit another person. That is wonderful. People who can be kind are wonderful. Just realize there's people who are learning how to do that because they're on the spectrum. Okay? Don't discount them because they're not kind all the time in the way they deliver truth and compassion and empathy. Niceness. Following social norms that make interactions comfortable and polite. If you are in rich groups, if you are in the ultra wealthy, if you are in communities of high influencers or something, and you feel like somebody's being nice, like go back to seeing if they actually are publicly behaving with empathy and have compassion in a way that they're risking it, because they may just be agreeable. Agreeable meaning a tendency towards cooperation, warmth, and avoiding conflict. I don't think we should be following people just because they're agreeable right now. The norms have been corrupted too much. And I don't think we should follow people just because they're being nice. I don't think so. I think we shouldn't shun them for being nice, but I just think we need to look under the hood a little bit. Like, are they performing? Because niceness is a lot of performance. Are they just performing? Because we don't need that in leadership right now. Like, we need people who are just like excellent. Like, they perform well because they're excellent, not because they're really agreeable or like use their NLP like a master and like are like using their algorithms and their AI to read your ass so well right now that you think they're the best thing since sliced bread. Like, we just need to get a little more critically thinking. All right, I'm experimenting. I'm experimenting. Thank you for being here on this live. Take care.